At Thanksgiving dinner, my brother-in-law mocked loudly. Well, it's cute she thinks she's part of the family now. Maybe next year she'll earn a real seat at the table. The room fell silent. I waited calmly, then pulled out a thick file full of documents showing he had been faking pay stubs, lying about his job, and living off loans he took out in my sister's name. He screamed, "You have no right." But my sister had already seen everything and served him divorce papers over the pumpkin pie. By Black Friday, he was homeless, and the story was trending locally on Facebook. I never planned to ruin someone's life on Thanksgiving, but looking back, I'm glad I did.
I'm 34.
Married into my husband's family about 2 years ago. They're a typical big Texas family, loud, a little nosy, but they mean well most of the time. I didn't grow up with a big family, so honestly, I was excited to be part of something like that. Except for Travis. From the second I met him, Travis rubbed me the wrong way. He wasn't even subtle about it. The guy always acted like he was better than everybody else. Even when he smiled at you, it felt fake. Like he was sizing you up. At first, it was just stupid little comments. "You're still doing that art stuff?" When I talked about my graphic design work. "Guess it's nice to have a hobby." I smiled. I bit my tongue. Then it got worse. In front of my in-laws, he'd make jokes about how I must have tricked my husband into marrying me. Stuff like, "She's smarter than she looks, I'll give her that." Some people know how to marry up when they see a good thing. I could tell some people were uncomfortable, but no one said anything. Maybe they thought it was harmless. Maybe they were just cowards. Either way, I let it slide. For months. Meanwhile, my sister was dealing with her own nightmare. She was married to Travis. Yeah. That Travis. It still makes my stomach turn when I think about it. She started calling me in the middle of the night, crying, whispering so he wouldn't hear. She was terrified. Bills were piling up. Bank accounts were low, even though Travis swore he was making plenty of money. Every time she asked questions, he flipped out, accused her of not trusting him, said she was acting crazy. Then she found the loan letter, a $20,000 personal loan. In her name. She hadn't signed a damn thing. I knew something was seriously wrong. I work freelance, but before that I worked admin jobs. I know how to pull credit reports, how to dig through public records. I got to work. It took weeks. Late nights. Tons of dead ends. But when I finally pieced it all together, it was worse than either of us thought. Travis hadn't had a steady job in over a year. He faked pay stubs using online generators. He took out loan after loan after loan, all in my sister's name. He maxed out her credit cards, opened new ones behind her back. He was living off her credit, gambling it away at casinos down in San Antonio. I sat there staring at my laptop in shock. I printed out everything, highlighted parts, made notes, built a damn case file. When I showed it to my sister, she broke down sobbing. We called a lawyer, started the divorce process. But her lawyer said to stay quiet until everything was ready.
Keep it calm.
Gather more evidence if we could. I agreed. But I kept that folder with me almost everywhere, just in case. I didn't expect to need it on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day rolled around. We all gathered at my husband's parents' house. Same as every year. They went all out. Turkey, ham, 5 kinds of pie, candles on the table, fireplace crackling. It smelled like cinnamon and gravy. Everyone was laughing, passing dishes around. I was finally starting to feel relaxed, like maybe this year would be different. Then Travis opened his mouth. We were talking about new additions to the family, cousins bringing boyfriends, girlfriends. Someone joked about how you know it's serious when you're invited to Thanksgiving dinner. I laughed and said, "Well, guess I'm official by now." Travis barked out a fake laugh so loud it made everyone jump. Then he said, loud enough for the whole table to hear, "Well, it's cute she thinks she's part of the family now. Maybe next year she'll earn a real seat at the table." The whole room froze. I felt every eye turn toward me. Someone dropped a fork. It clattered against a plate. My ears burned. My stomach twisted. I wanted to crawl under the table. But instead I smiled. I didn't say a word. I didn't raise my voice. I just reached into my purse, pulled out the thick file folder, and set it down next to my sister. She looked at me, confused. I just nodded. She opened it. Her face went pale in seconds. Travis realized something was happening. He stood up so fast his chair tipped over backward, hitting the floor with a loud bang. His face twisted in this ugly, panicked look. He shouted, "You have an O, right? This isn't your business." Everyone was staring now. Some of the younger cousins' mouths were hanging open. My husband's mom looked like she was about to faint. My sister didn't say a word. She just pulled a second envelope out of her purse, divorce papers, and set them right next to his plate.
Calm. Cold.
Like she'd been waiting for this moment. Travis's hands were shaking. He pointed at me, his voice cracking. "This is your fault. You ruined my life." I shrugged.
No, Travis.
"You did that all by yourself." There was dead silence. Only the sound of the fireplace crackling. He looked around, expecting anyone, to defend him. But nobody moved. Not even his own mother. Finally, he stormed out of the house, slamming the door so hard it rattled the windows. My sister and I grabbed our coats, hugged my husband, walked out together. Nobody stopped us. We didn't even talk in the car at first. My sister just stared out the window, clutching the divorce papers in one hand like they were the only thing keeping her upright. When we finally pulled into my driveway, she broke down. Not loud, ugly sobs, just silent tears streaming down her face. "I wasted 7 years on him," she whispered. 7 years. I didn't know what to say. What could you say? I just sat there with her, not trying to fix it, just being there. Later that night, after she fell asleep on my couch, my phone blew up. First it was my husband, then my father-in-law, then some of the cousins. Apparently, after we left, Travis came back.
Drunk.
Screaming. He was pounding on the front door, shouting about how we set him up, about how this family is full of snakes. My husband's dad called the cops before he could break anything. When they showed up, Travis peeled out of the driveway in his beat-up Ford and disappeared into the night. I half expected him to show up at my house too, but he never did. Instead, he went online. The next morning, Black Friday, I woke up to chaos. Travis had posted these long, ranting Facebook posts about how he was betrayed by his own blood, about how gold diggers and liars ruined his life. He called me out by name,
Called my sister out.
accused us of lying, stealing, conspiring. It would have been funny if it wasn't so sad. I was ready to ignore it, but my sister wasn't. She made one post. Just one. No words. Just screenshots. Fake pay stubs. Loan documents. Copies of his emails forging her signature. A spreadsheet I had made showing where every penny went. It blew up. Dozens of comments poured in. Some people couldn't believe it. Some said they had always wondered about Travis. Old coworkers came forward saying he got fired a year ago for stealing petty cash. Even a neighbor commented that they saw repo guys circling the house last month. By the end of the day, Travis deleted his entire Facebook account. It didn't stop there. His world kept crumbling. The landlord kicked him out. Turns out, he hadn't paid rent in 2 months. The car got repossessed. He had been behind on payments for almost a year. His parents, who had been quietly supporting him, finally cut him off. He had nowhere to go. I heard through the grapevine he was crashing on some guy's couch out in Round Rock, working odd jobs under the table, trying to avoid wage garnishments. My sister, meanwhile, was doing everything by the book. Her lawyer filed restraining orders, froze joint accounts, filed identity theft reports. It was slow work, ugly work, but it was moving forward. Then, right when we thought it was over, Travis tried one last move. He showed up at my sister's new apartment, banging on the door, demanding to talk it out, blaming her for taking everything from him. She called the cops again. This time, they didn't just shoo him away. They arrested him. He had an outstanding warrant now, not just for harassment, but for fraud. One of the banks he scammed decided to press charges. Watching him get shoved into the back of that cruiser felt heavy, not triumphant, not like a movie, just final. After Travis got arrested, things stayed quiet for a while. My sister finally had breathing room. She focused on rebuilding her life, therapy, working with a credit repair agency, getting her name off as many bad loans as possible. I helped where I could, driving her to appointments, helping her organize paperwork, even just showing up with takeout when she looked overwhelmed. But of course, Travis wasn't done. We heard through some mutual friends that he was telling his side of the story all over town, claiming my sister set him up to steal from him, saying I was some psycho hacker who faked all the documents. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so dangerous. Because some people, especially ones who didn't know him well, believed him. A few nights, my sister got anonymous messages. Gross stuff. Threats. You ruined a good man's life, bitch. Hope karma hits you like you deserve. It rattled her. Bad. She started carrying pepper spray everywhere. We installed extra locks on her door. It wasn't fair. Travis was the criminal, but we were the ones looking over our shoulders. Then, one morning about 3 weeks later, something weird happened. I was grabbing coffee at this little drive-thru near my house when the girl at the window said, "Hey, I think someone left you a note." She handed me a crumpled envelope with my name scrawled on it.
No posty.
No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper, handwritten. You'll get what's coming. Watch your back.
No signature.
My stomach dropped. I went home, locked every door, every window, double-checked my security cameras. I didn't tell my sister right away. She had enough on her plate. But that same day, she got one too. We went to the police, filed reports, gave them the notes. They said they couldn't do much unless Travis did something physical, which was insane to me, but that's the system. Still, the timing wasn't a coincidence. It was him. We knew it. The lawyer filed for an emergency protection order. The cops flagged his name in their system. If Travis even breathed in our direction again, he'd go back to jail. And then, just when we were waiting for the next shoe to drop, something unexpected happened. Travis's mugshot got posted online. Someone, maybe a cop, maybe a local blogger, leaked it to a community page. His face, red and bloated, with fraud, identity theft, and harassment charges listed underneath. It went viral around Austin like wildfire. His old bosses, his exes, old classmates, even people who barely knew him started sharing it, tagging him, what was left of his new fake accounts, laughing about what a scammer he was. He couldn't outrun it anymore. He tried messaging some family members, begging for help. Nobody answered. Even his own mother stopped defending him after she saw the full folder my sister sent her. All the evidence, all the forged signatures, all the loans. He was radioactive now. No one wanted anything to do with him. The best part? 2 banks filed lawsuits against him for damages. Meaning even if he somehow avoided jail, he'd be buried in debt until the day he died. My sister's lawyer told her, "You won't get back all your money, but you'll get peace." And she finally started to believe it. But it still wasn't over. Because Travis still had one last disgusting trick up his sleeve. One that could have ruined everything if we hadn't caught it in time. About 2 weeks after Travis's mugshot went viral, my sister got a certified letter at her apartment. It looked official, thick envelope, courthouse seal. She thought it was something about the divorce, so she opened it right there in her kitchen while I was over helping her rehang curtains. Her face went blank. I grabbed the letter from her shaking hands. It was a lawsuit. Travis was suing her, claiming emotional distress, theft, and defamation. He was trying to turn it all around, saying she ruined his reputation, that all the lies we spread about him cost him future job opportunities, that the stress of it caused him serious medical issues. It was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. I honestly laughed out loud when I finished reading it. Not because it was funny, but because it was just so pathetic. The lawsuit was filed by some cheap bottom-feeder attorney who probably just needed the paycheck. Still, it meant we had to fight it. Had to get a real lawyer involved. Had to show up in court. Had to spend money. which obviously was the entire point. Travis didn't think he could win. He just wanted to drag my sister through more hell, bleed her dry, punish her for daring to leave him. Our lawyer wasn't worried, but she warned us. These cases don't usually go anywhere, but it'll cost time, stress, and money before it gets thrown out. So we gathered everything again. Every document, every screenshot, every police report. We even got statements from 2 of Travis's old bosses confirming he was fired for theft and lying on job applications. I helped organize it all, like a damn paralegal. We were ready. The court date came fast. We showed up at Travis County Courthouse on a cold, gray morning. I remember standing on the steps, feeling my stomach twist into knots. My sister wore a simple black dress.
No makeup. No jewelry.
She wanted to look plain. Honest. Travis showed up late, wearing a wrinkled dress shirt, looking like he hadn't showered in days. He tried to smirk at us across the courtroom, but his hands were shaking. You could see it. The hearing was quick. Our lawyer shredded him, laid out the fraud, the identity theft, the harassment, the restraining orders. The judge barely let Travis's lawyer finish speaking before dismissing the whole case with prejudice, meaning Travis couldn't ever refile. And then the kicker. The judge ordered Travis to pay all legal fees. Thousands of dollars he didn't have. I wish I could tell you I felt sorry for him in that moment. I didn't. He brought every ounce of it on himself. He humiliated my sister for years. He stole her future. He tried to burn her down because he couldn't face the truth. He deserved every damn thing that happened to him. We walked out of that courthouse into the cold air. My sister turned to me and said, real quiet, "It's finally over." I wanted to believe that. But deep down, I knew Travis wasn't the kind of man who went down without dragging others through the mud. And I was right, because just when we thought he had no moves left, he found a new way to strike back. A few weeks after the court hearing, everything seemed quiet again. My sister started to breathe easier. She even went on a few dates, nothing serious, but enough to feel human again. I started sleeping through the night without checking my security cameras every hour. It felt like we were climbing out of the wreckage Travis left behind. Then came the phone call. I was cooking dinner when my sister called, not texting like usual, calling, and her voice was shaking. "He opened more loans in my name," she said. I dropped the spoon right onto the stove. What? I thought we froze everything. We had. After the identity theft mess, we froze her credit with all 3 bureaus. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. Set up fraud alerts. Locked it down tight. But Travis found a loophole. Turns out he had stolen her old passport, one she thought was lost years ago, and used it to open loans through sketchy online lenders that didn't always check frozen credit. Small loans at first, $2,000 here, $3,500 there, but they added up. Fast. In less than 2 weeks, Travis had racked up almost $20,000 in new debt under her name. My sister was crushed. Her voice cracked when she said, "I thought I was free. I wanted to murder him." I'm not exaggerating. I don't think I've ever hated someone so much in my entire life. I could feel it in my teeth, my bones, my blood. But this wasn't the time to lose it. We needed a new plan. We spent the next 48 hours working with her lawyer, fraud specialists, and the police. They found out Travis was using burner phones and fake addresses to pull this off: motels, P.O. boxes, anything he could use to hide. The scary part? One of the lenders had already tried to garnish her wages. If she hadn't caught it, she could have lost months of paychecks for loans she never even touched. The lawyer filed emergency motions, fraud affidavits, police reports. It was a mess. A bigger mess than before. But we fought back hard. And then one break came. A loan officer at one of the sketchy companies got spooked when our lawyer started dropping words like federal fraud investigation and criminal conspiracy. The officer flipped, turned over Travis's application records voluntarily. IP addresses, fingerprints, video security footage from a local shipping store where Travis had picked up some of the loan paperwork. They caught him, dead to rights. An arrest warrant went out. This time, not just local. Federal charges. Bank fraud. Identity theft across state lines.
Wide fraud. Real time.
No slap on the wrist. The night Travis got arrested again, I was sitting on my sister's couch, half asleep, when we got the call from her lawyer. They have him. I remember standing up, pacing the living room, heart pounding. The lawyer said he tried to run, bolted out the back of a motel outside San Antonio, but the marshals tackled him before he made it 20 feet. My sister covered her mouth, her eyes wide. Neither of us said anything for a long time. It was real. Finally, he was done. But even then, even facing prison time, even with his whole life in flames, Travis wasn't done trying to hurt people. Because before he was arrested, he sent out one last scorched earth email blast to everyone he knew, family, friends, coworkers, everyone. And what he sent almost blew everything apart for my sister. And for me. The email blast Travis sent out was simple. Just a few short paragraphs.
No attachments.
No long rants. But it was packed full of lies. Big enough to ruin lives if anyone actually believed them. He accused my sister of stealing from him. Claimed she manipulated him into taking loans to support her out-of-control spending. Said I was the mastermind, that I hacked into his personal accounts, planted fake evidence, and blackmailed him. He said we were both facing pending charges, completely false, and that the truth would come out soon. And he sent this garbage to everyone. Everyone. Our family, friends, former coworkers, even a few of my husband's relatives who barely knew me. At first there was just shock.
Confusion.
People weren't sure what to believe. Some folks who should have known better, who should have had our backs without question, suddenly got real quiet. A few even sent weird, passive-aggressive messages like, "If you ever want to talk, I'm here."
No judgment.